Hello there everyone, this is Iron Mark 3 and welcome back to Uncrewed, the robotic drone building game thingy. I don't know how to do my sarcastic / completely unrelated intros for this one, so, it's Uncrewed. Welcome. Um, After I did the pilot, I've decided I do want to do a bit more content on this game because it is interesting in its premise. It's definitely deserves a bit more of a look. And I tried to decide how I wanted to go about it because the pilot was a mixed bag. I was showing off everything basically. And what I decided is this. I'm going to separate the campaign gameplay in Omega A from the bulk of my building. So normally I'll play the game and I will sometimes tweak my units a bit and stuff like that, or try out new blocks and things. But I'm going to separate off the building and vehicle design work as much as I can. So if people are interested in that, they can look at that. If they're not interested, then they won't really get much of that, and it'll just be me going through the campaign. So that is the general idea here. So in this case, I'll be using the repository function, which I've just been looking at slightly and trying to figure out a bit. And yep, this is going to be okay. Now, I can select my basic repository here, and it gives me some options: new repository, rename, remove, and sandbox mode. We're going to be using sandbox mode here, but first let's go into Untitled repository. I've actually put my flame tank and the two variants I slapped together with the chain guns and magnums. They are all backed up in here, and I'm going to rename this one as the just click it, there we go. This is going to be the backup repository. So I'm going to use this to let me save, transfer, and reorganize my other repositories as I care to. So I've still got that. I've still got all that work, but I'm actually going to remove them flat out from my Omega A repository. So there we go. I've also got the basic harvester Mark II. I'm going to remove that as well. Omega A apparently now cannot build anything. Poor old Omega A units. Oh well, can't be helped. So, as I said, this is going to be a building video, and I'm going to be using the sandbox. I accidentally opened the sandbox on the skirmish repository, and it showed me all the tech currently in the game, and I'm glad to report there is a lot more than what we've got. Omega A repository is very much restricted by my campaign progression, so that's limiting the parts I've got, but let's go into the sandbox here. There are aircraft parts, there are jets and hover fans, and there are water parts like hydrofoils and things like that. And one comment I got in feedback regarding, well, from my special one, they were concerned about unit movement. There are other vehicle movement parts in the game as well, like there's some tank tracks and there's even a screw cog kind of thing. So you can give these units screw propulsion if you unlock that. It's just I don't have most of the parts right now, so my building resources are incredibly limited at this point in time. So let us begin. Now, my purpose here is to try and build some new units based on what parts I currently have, my current technology level, and stuff like that. So, is that? Wait, is that an ammo? It is. I got the wrong thing. Okay, we're off to an excellent start now. Delete you. I wanted a... Oh yeah, it's under that one. Systems. Okay, pick that. Right. I'm going to start off with what I said I might want before, a basic mining vehicle which can be built really, really cheaply and really, really quickly. And I'm also going to give it an unarmed as well, so it's not going to carry any kind of guns. So, but it's a miner. It's important. It's yay. No, flat out no. What I want here is something really cheap, and as I found out at the very end of the pilot run, I want something that... Oh. Apparently, if I'd gone on into the next mission, I'd have found I've unlocked a whole bunch of new parts anyway, including track propulsion, larger wheels, a telescopic beam, whatever the heck that's for, and a whole bunch of new weaponry. Okay, including grenade launchers. And a cannon. Okay, this is going to be a bit more intensive than I thought it would be, but I've got the same structural components. I've got no additional systems, but propulsion and weapon components, I've got significant upgrades according to this. Anyway, let's get on with it. That's completely derailed my train of thought, and no mistake. So let's get on with it. The cheap, cheerful mining unit, which does not require any additional technologies and things like that. So yeah, basically it's going to be an absolute minimum of parts, and I want it to be as stable enough to actually operate, which is actually going to be a slight issue, but hey, what can you do? What can you do? I also need to be aware of the size, because I mean that first flame tank was a really good thing. I mean, it was solid, it was durable. I can adapt it relatively quickly to a few new bits and pieces I was trying to do with it, but it did suffer from having a large footprint, and it was very slow slung. So that was one of the concerns voiced to me. It's just like it was crashing into things all the time, including itself. They were having trouble moving around each other. They were just not very agile, and they couldn't fight in close formations, things like that. So that's why I want to redesign that as well. So here we go. That might work. Looks kind of suspect, but that's why I'm in the build mode. Let's save and end assembly. Give it a test. Very cheap to build, relatively 140. 3 wheels only, but in previous testing, 3 wheels has proven to be extremely unstable. So we're going to see if it can actually do stuff. Yeah, and immediately it tries to fall over. We are off to an excellent start. Okay, let's put you to mining a little bit and see how well you do. Okay, there seems to be a little bit of clipping going on because of how the mining module is placed. Yeah, I think a lot of it is the mining module's too low. Okay. Well, this is why we're here trying to build stuff. Okay, repository, let's remake you slightly. Just need to, let's try the detach mode. There we go. And I need to lift that a little bit. So pick that part too. Okay, and then I want to grab you. Can I grab you? Move selected. Oh, I see. Wait, that's not right. Yeah, this is very, very, very finicky. I'm just going to flat out delete it and put a new one in. And of course, it has to point downwards. So I need to get the ring selected, and there we go. Okay, that is now up off the ground. I have full traction, and that's not going to get in the way and try and tip me. So save, and let's try that one. It's added a tiny bit to the cost and a tiny bit to the build time, but it's still really cheap though. 17 seconds, 145 to build, but it's about as cheap a harvest as I think I can make. Oh, definitely has power issues still, but it's not bouncing around as much. Let's scrap you. Oh, no, let's just move you out of the way actually. Yeah, that's definitely getting in the way then. Yeah, it's so light, it's struggling because of just how light it is. Also because of how small it is as well. It's like, whee, let's go over here, and it's like, whoops, bouncing around all over the place. That's not. It's one thing to go cheap and cheerful. It's another to have something that's like can't stay on its own wheels. So, yeah, that is just no. Recycle that one flat out. Recycle you too. There we go. Okay. I think we need to redesign this from the ground up, actually. So remove you. Yes. Begin new assembly. Right. Let's go. Tried and true. 4 wheels. And I've got all the basic parts I require already. So let's start with one of you. And I'm going to use these girder frames now to give it some bulk as well, just to try and keep it from, going cuckoo like it was. Rotate you, and then just flat out put that there. And that's going to be one wheel. Actually, I'm doing this. I want to do this the other way around, actually. Hang on. Don't mind me, ladies and gents. I know what I'm doing. Yes. I must admit the entire thing is slightly... Oh, I could have just rotated it. Okay, that's my bad. My bad. Yes, because I want this bit to be on the front, actually. How wide do I want it to be? That's pretty wide. Let's just make a basic square and see what it looks like, how it goes. There we go. Then we'll add the mountings for the wheels, like so, to get it a bit more low slung. It's definitely much bigger than that little one we made before, but hopefully that'll make it stable enough for such a light vehicle to actually operate properly. Because there's no point in having a harvester if it decides to just tip itself over given the first opportunity to do so, is there? There we go. Of course, the slight issue is having to rotate individually each piece because it's... Yeah, I think this is one of the biggest flaws of the game right now. It's just flat out clunky. Oh, there's also a comment that I was given, like, the game appears really basic, or something like that. And yeah, it does. Really, it does. Also, I've misaligned that one. Delete you. Drag you back in. And get you properly. Actually, yeah, that's how I want you. Okay. Now then, CPU can go onto this side. And power can go onto this side, so it's got basic motion capabilities. And then let's add the lifting part, of course, to get the miner just a little bit off the ground. And mount that there. There we go. So, definitely a different beast. Very basic. But, as I said, we're trying for really cheap here. Now, that's added 3 seconds to its build time. It's got a little bit more hit points and a slightly higher cost. 45, 50, yeah, 25 more cost, 3 seconds longer to build, but it's got a bit more hit points, like 4 more hit points. I really should have kept the basic harvester in here, shouldn't I, just to do price comparison, but that... The basic harvester was like, oh, I don't know, a couple of hundred, and it had a gun on it as well, which added to the cost a lot. There we go. New harvester units. Oh yeah, that's so much more stable, isn't it? Yeah, that's fixed it. Okay, we have a basic harvester. Hooray! First unit done. Yep, completely stable. Completely unarmed, very, very fragile, but that is my first new unit. And it is a good one, I think. So, yay! Little harvester drone, welcome to the team. Those little beeps when they move, it's just so cheerful. Anyway, right, we've got some extra buildings and things in here. Some of which aren't actually named, I must point that out. We've got explosive labs and an armory. Now, let's move on to the next vehicle. I want an actual decent combat unit, which is not big, but carries 2 weapon payloads and can more or less fire them where it likes for the most part. So, let's begin a new assembly. Again, this is going to be basic tech, so it's going to be a motorized wheel system. It's going to have basic weaponry. So, yeah. Should I add basic weapon racks? What does that... What's the difference, even? I mean, I think those come with a weapon rack anyway. You know what? Let's build this around a 6-barrel Gatling. Yeah, see, it comes with its own. It comes with the thing anyway. Also, I can't rotate that, so that's not good. Delete you. Right. Let's add a basic adapter. Let's add a single turret on top of that, so that goes there. Actually, let's test this, actually. So let's go ahead and delete you. And what happens if I add just a flat weapon fixture? Like that. Can I then drag that onto it? No. Okay, what is that even for? Is that just for those vehicles and things that are unarmed? I guess it must be. Okay, right. Anyway, enough faffing around. Let's get back on with this. Basic Gatling. Check. Now then, this thing is actually a pure combat vehicle built with basic tech. So, I still haven't figured out how to flip and colour these, but I'm going to do that. And let's get this installed here. Oh, it's too bulky, eh? Gets in the way a bit. Okay. Can't be helped. Right, let's say no to that then. Let's add in some basic armor plating. Oh, there's translucent plating, which is the same hit points actually, but lighter. It's got different resistances though. It's more resistant to heat, less resistant to blast attacks. So depends on what you're trying to arm your vehicle against, really, which one you'd prefer. Though there is still the fact that it's lighter, and otherwise it's the same cost. So let's go with the solid plating for all-around defense, I think. And again, being a bit finicky with the entire bits here. There we go. And of course I need to add one here too if I can. Can I? No, I can't. It's getting in the way slightly. Okay. I can, however, do that. So that's doing okay, though there's the fact that there's things going wrong right there. Let's add some wheels. Ooh, that is actually looking pretty darn high. That's higher than I want it to be, and it's also really narrow too. So I want to get rid of those actually. Delete them. This is where the main complexity of the game lies right now, really. It's like, as you can see, I'm trying to work out what I want to do with it. And I'm trying to build the vehicles. And this is why I separated it off, actually, to make into a separate video. I should have kept the other things in the workshop just to compare the things. Because, of course, I can use the backup one to reshuffle things too. Okay, so how's that looking? That's bigger than I was planning it to look, really. I must admit that. I think I need another layer of armoured hull, like on the back here. I need to keep the backs kind of low slung because I need to be aware of where things are going to go. And the firing arcs of the guns, of course, because that's kind of important. But I'm trying to build this thing up just to be flat out reliable. Yeah. That's going to be stable. It's looking kind of bulky though. I really do want to know how it compares to the other things. So I'm going to actually back out of this for a moment. Quit. Yes, because I want to get my other units back into the repository so I can actually check it and see how things compare. I should have done this before. I apologize, but that's how it is. Right, let's get that. 240 versus 170. However, mine is bulkier, as well as being considerably weaker. Faster to build though, and a lot cheaper. So this harvester seems to stack up pretty darn well. Let's go to the backup and grab my basic tank too, because yeah, these new units are kind of similar in length, really. Actually, this basic unit's shorter. That one's longer. That's bad. Right, and this is why I split it off into its own separate thing, because it's like, I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to do this. So I want to get it just separate, and if people are interested, then they can have a look. So let's go back into the sandbox and compare these flipping things. I'm not that enamored by doing the comparison right now, but okay, let's get the basic harvester, followed by the Mark II. Then my current test unit isn't actually mobile at the moment, but I'll get a Unit 1 out as well. Now look, this factory is actually fully upgraded, so it's got a more powerful boost. 4x production time, and it will last for 30 seconds, so let's do that. Yeah, that is so much faster, isn't it? Okay, let's see. Right, the new harvester is a lot larger than the old one. Yeah, that's much smaller. Ah, here comes the tank. Yeah, that is also small. Oh, damn it. Let's see, what's the weights? Weighs 282, that weighs 106. So this thing is also less than half the weight, despite how much bulkier it is. But I think I might have gone overboard slightly on this one by making it too bulky. But it's also lighter as well, so that's one of its big issues. You know, let's slap together another one really quick. Let's go for a new harvester. Because I want to get something that's really cheap, really effective. Structure. Give me the basic hulls. There were 5 pellets. Oh, wait, here we go. Can I? What the heck does this? Oh, wait, what? I have no idea what this is about, so gonna save changes, no. And get rid of that one, yes. Right. Basic hull is like 15, and it's pretty small. And then these guys are also 5 pellets. They're lighter, 0.6 seconds, 0.6. So might as well, let's try it with these, the basic hull parts. So I need one in the center because of mounting the extractor. Then I need some on either side, like that, to balance it out. Yes. Then what happens if I add these, pick those, and I need that as well, of course, to mount the actual mining system. So I need that, and then I need the battery and CPU, which I added in the opposite order, so yes, I am aware. And then I've got the basic wheels. So let's see how this compares. It should be a little bit smaller. Actually, how big is the thing? Hang on. There's always these little things, isn't there? Like when I start building, it's like, okay, that could be narrower, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. Actually, no, that looks pretty darn tight. I don't think I can make that any narrower than it is. So let's do that, and then of course add in the wheel mountings here. Yep. Kind of wondering now, how much do these wheel mountings cost me? It's like I'm trying to scrimp and scrape for every last scrap that I don't have to put onto this thing. So this is another test miner. Like that. And then it needs, of course, the battery and power cores. So there we go. Looks a bit bigger. Its wheelbase seems bigger. I'm going to have to compare it again. So let's get that built. Come out, new test miner. Because that thing's actually pretty damn bulky compared to this guy. So it is a lot more mobile actually as well. It accelerates a heck of a lot better. I mean, look at the difference in terms of mobility. So that's bigger, but it's got more mobility. This one is kind of like a half and half thing. It's definitely pretty light, pretty mobile. It's smaller, slightly wider. Yeah, it's slightly wider than that one, but it's a little bit shorter. No, it's about the same length, slightly wider though. But it's lower tech and cheaper. So let's compare the stats. 275 versus 160. It's actually cheaper than the first one I made too. And it's got slightly more hit points. What? Tiny bit heavier, but nothing noticeable. And it's slightly faster to make. So yeah, that new harvester there is superior to that one. How strange. Because they include all the same parts. Oh wait, it's because this guy is more expensive because it includes those hinge pieces there because of the nature of the parts it's got. This uses basic hulls which connect in all directions already, so it has those parts less. And the hulls have more hit points than the actual bars themselves, so that's where the hit point difference comes from. So that's why that was cheaper, got more hit points, and it's flat out better. But it's still much better acceleration than this one. Oh, though it does get knocked around a bit better. It's knocked around more easily, so... Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm happy with that one. Right. I have a new miner. Yeah, because of the agility difference, that thing mines faster than that one. Though they have the same mining gear, the same mining capacity. That's just a better miner, and it's easier to build as well. Like, yeah, it seems to be a rate roughly every 2 trips the basic miner makes, this one can make 3. So 50% faster. Okay. Sorry about all this. It's just like I'm trying to work out the systems while I go. So that guy's the winner. Those 2 can get recycled. So there we go. Repository. That one can be removed. Yes. Harvester Mark II, of course. Then I've got this guy, which is going to be... I want to rename this guy. How do I rename this guy? Oh, just click up here. Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna call it for its role. So it's like an XL miner. So there we go. Save. Right. XL miner. I now have a mining blueprint, or at least one mining blueprint. Let's make another. Let's make another. Gonna base it off the same chassis. So clone that one. And the idea here is that I want to make a new modified miner which is actually durable. Because sometimes it might be a case of the enemy starting to get into my production lines, or I can't properly defend myself, and things like that. So I want a miner which can actually defend itself reasonably against incoming attack. And to that end, this thing needs to have some kind of weaponry and armor to make it more durable. But it's going to be more expensive as well, and that's the main drawback of it. It's just not going to be a good one to do. Basic equipment is going to have rotary guns. I'd rather have a revolver, but the guns are available a bit faster, and they are a bit cheaper, I think. Let's actually double check that. Mass is 10, pellets 35. Mass is 1035. Okay. So basically just because that's available a bit sooner. They both require an armory actually. So both of those would unlock provided you've got the tech to do it. Let's go for Revolver because it's massive burst damage and the miner will be rolling around the place. So yeah, let's go with the Revolver base. So let's go ahead and... It's going to have somewhat restricted firing arcs because of the mining gear and where that is situated if I put it on there. Really, I want to lift it. But if I want this thing to have a serious bite to it, I need to actually go and use up both weapon slots. So let's install twin revolvers on it. So there we go, that's got twin weapons ready to go. Sort of. Hang on. Let's add an armoured hull piece. This thing's supposed to be tough, right? So an armoured hull piece onto the back here. Oh, yeah, there we go. I can add another one. Let's do another one. So I've got some armoured hull pieces. I'm going to actually remove those two guns where I put them. So delete those two. And this thing is going to be kind of odd. It's going to be back slewed, rather. So there's one gun there. Then I'm going to add another armoured hull piece onto there. And add another revolver there. So it's got pretty good firing arcs on its revolvers. It's got one rear facing, but in general it's going to be fire. It's going to have a massive field of fire. This one can fire anywhere. This one's got like a 270-degree firing arc or something like that. So pretty good. What's it looking like now? It's got 85 hit points. Yeah, it's pretty tough. Let's add some side plating to this thing as well. So I want that side piece there, please. Thank you. So that's looking okay. Just giving it some more endurance, able to withstand more hits without being killed, because of course, as we worked out in the pilot, it's going to be cheaper to repair these things than it is to rebuild them. And with a bite from its twin revolvers, this thing has a decent chance of driving off anything that's getting aggressive with it. So yeah, this is a hazardous environment mining vehicle more than anything else. Should I add some more power to it? Doesn't really need it, but this thing's going to seriously affect its acceleration. I mean, it's greatly increased its mass, this upgrade, but it's also greatly increased its hit points. I've not added any extra gear though, except for the guns, and they've got their own contained ammo, so let's test this one, see how it goes. Looks very different to the basic one, but you can tell it's an upgraded version. It's from the same family. Let's get them back over to the mining positions and see how well they compare. Though I predict this one is going to be a slower miner, but it's more durable because of course it's just flat out much heavier. Yeah, 50 versus almost 3 times the hit points on it though. 2.5 times the cost. Slightly over double the weight. About 60-70% increased. Oh, that's still pretty darn fast actually. Yeah, still definitely got mobility. So I think the wheelbase might be responsible for mobility because the basic harvester was just flat out slower than that. This thing, I've still got that 282 versus 273. The Harvester Mark 2 was definitely not moving as well, so it seems the wheelbase plays a big factor in mobility. Because these guys seem to be about the same. Yeah, they are moving about the same. It's just they're getting each other's way slightly. But there's no difference in mobility. Those things are moving identically. Wow. It's just one's much cheaper and one of them is armed and armoured. So, yeah, we're on to a winner. That's another mining type. Okay. Right. Congratulations, guys. You are officially okay vehicles in my book. Hooray. Modify you. You are now... Should I get this right? A hazard zone miner. So there we go. New mining vehicle. Saved. Yeah. Also, very interesting insight there about the mobility kind of thing. Now, let's check this guy. This guy is really sluggish, but I think that's more out of pure weight than anything else. Let's check his weight. Actually, 402. Yeah, that's like 50% greater than the hazard zone miner is right now. Well, the hazard miner has nothing like the battery life of the that basic tank there. It's cheaper. And it's almost got as much hit points. So that is just flat out a better design. Wow. Okay. Ugh. I'm sorry, this is dragging on, but it's like, I'm discovering things. It's like, what the heck is going on? Okay, right. Anyway, next up, I actually wanted to get a replacement for this guy. Like, a smaller, more agile combat vehicle. And the hazard miner has actually shown me what looks like a decent way to go about it, because that's pretty darn good, actually. Yeah, that's a very good design, that. While this thing is just... This thing struggles a lot. A very good early attempt, but its sheer bulk is getting in its way a lot. It's just flat out bigger. So yeah, okay, let's get on. Let's stop looking at the and comparing these things, and let's actually build a new combat vehicle. So there was that one that I was working on. This guy, who is just flat out even bigger than this one, but this seems to be a really good wheelbase, this kind of size. So I'm going to abandon that effort. I'm going to remove you, yes. And I'm going to start with the hazard zone miner. So I'm actually going to clone that and start modifying it into a dedicated combat vehicle. So this requires some rearrangement. Like, I'm going to scrap out that. I'm going to remove the weaponry for the moment. So that's all that's coming off. So yep, delete all that. And then that's not needed as well, so take that off. And I've got this basic chassis now, which is pretty damn solid. Let's actually... armored chassis. So yeah, here we go. A really basic chassis, this. And I'm actually going to save that. So I can come back to that and modify it later if I care to. So that's going to go straight into the backup repository, that. But the hazard zone miner is... I'm impressed by that. So I'm going to clone the basic chassis and then churn this into my combat vehicle. So then, let's see, what should I do with it? It doesn't need to be this wide for a start, so I'm going to scrap that. I need to narrow it down slightly, so yeah, like that. Okay. Now, can I move this selection here to connect it? Is that now connected? I think it is. This vehicle is slightly narrower, but that's the first time I've properly used I've managed to use the separate and move tools. So that's a first. Okay. Now then, I need armored hulls, of course. So that can go there and there. Okay, that is a start. Now then, the question is where to go from here, basically. First things first, I should include some more basic battery capacity. There's plenty of space underneath it, so let's do that. That gives it some more long-term viability on the front lines and lets it go longer between charges. I can't. Will it work properly with those under there? This requires a test, so let's go ahead and install those underneath for the moment. It looks like it will have clearance for them, so it should work, but I want to know if they are scraping along the ground or not. It looks like they shouldn't unless it goes over the top of a hill or something, but that's why I'm here. That's why I want to test it. So let's get that thing out. Unconnected. Wait, what? Unconnected parts. Oh. Oh, there's a snap command, is there? Okay. Right, this entire section here is unconnected. So, let's back it off, then use the snap command. I want you to connect to that. No, how does this work? Attach to, here we go, right. And then if I click that, oh wait, I can click and drag and, there we go. Okay, so that's how that works, right. You need to have a separate, you need to use the snap command to do that. I see. Definitely a bit clunky, but once you know it, once you know the different bits, this thing gets more and more viable. Okay, anyway, I need to test that after all, so let's go ahead and build that copy. Crank it up because I can. The speed! Build it! Print my little drone. There we go. Okay, what have we got? It gets kind of loud though when it's all running, so same kind of mobility, yep. Turns slightly worse, I think, but I think that's just because of a slightly narrower wheelbase, actually, because of how the wheels were affecting mobility on earlier attempts, but yeah, it looks like it's got proper clearance. It's doing okay. Right, drive into the water. Dunk the batteries in the water, that's totally safe. Whoops, daisy. Doesn't like being submerged, let's be honest, but it has a little bit of buoyancy, so it has some trouble when it's in deep water or trying to come out, but... Oh, I saw some sparks there, I think. Okay, right, there is definitely some contact going on. Some very little sparks, but the weight of the craft is stopping it from being an issue, from what I can tell. Yeah, there is definitely some contact with those underslung batteries going on, but it's not enough to actually hinder the vehicle, from what I can tell. Yeah, okay, that looks good. Right. Let's compare its size to that thing. Yeah, that is definitely a sleeker vehicle, smaller vehicle. Okay, yeah, I'm getting quite happy with this. I'm getting quite attached to that chassis. Right, what do we got? That's the basic armor chassis. This is an upgraded version of the basic armor chassis. HP 132, 166. Only 30 points short. It's not got the guns on it yet, but it's considerably lighter and more mobile. So definite replacement material. That. Okay, let's get on with it. Delete the basic armor chassis. Remove that. Yes, because this is the new basic armor chassis. So, okay, I'm not sure how long I've been doing this. It's like nearly an hour, I think, just building. Basic armored chassis. Save you. Okay. Now then, I need to turn you into an actual combat vehicle now. Whoops, nope, not that. Didn't mean to do that either. Cancel you. Thank you. I need to clone and then modify. So you are my first... Well, you've got the extra power. You've got the endurance. You've got the control. What you really need now is weapon mounting. So... let's add a pair of Gatlings as your primary weapon system. Yeah, let's do that. So I've got a Gatling there. Yes. And I need to mount this higher, so I'm going to put that there. It's further back from the forward gun, so it gives the forward gun more of a firing arc behind the vehicle. And then I'm going to add another one there. So there we go. That is a pair of Gatlings, one of which has got total coverage, one of which has got pretty good coverage. And then I'm going to add some armor plating. That won't get in the way. That won't get in the way. And that won't get in the way. So I'm expanding the armor, keeping it all on this low slung basic box. If I do that, no, that's not looking good. Okay, just take that one back off. What did I just delete? I have no idea. I don't think I deleted anything actually. So, no wait, yes I did. I deleted the battery. Whoops. Okay, put that back on. There we go. Right, so it's got all the power of the basic chassis, but I have added in extra plating and I've added in an extra gun. Actually, I can add some more plating onto here as well, just to increase its boxiness. Okay. Actually, put on there. Remove that one because that will interfere slightly with the forward gun. So take that one back off. Yeah, that's got a very good field of fire on the forward gun, and the back gun has got, of course, unimpeded field of fire. So this is my new Gatling tank, I think, built on the basic armor chassis. So save that, and let's get it built to test it. 168 hit points. 166. It's got more hit points. It's cheaper. It doesn't have anything like the power capacity because that starter unit has got nearly, well, over double. But it's faster to build, and it's like 3/4 of the weight, roughly. So that's a pretty good armoured chassis, I think. Pretty nice. Okay, let's get these two testing. It again seems to have a decent wheelbase. It's got better acceleration. It is, of course, a smaller vehicle, so it's got a smaller collision profile, so I can pack them in closer together, I think. It doesn't handle water quite as well, because, of course, this one is heavier, so it just tanks straight through the water more effectively than this one does. Yeah, that one just handles water a little bit better. But apart from that, this is actually a superior design, I think. So, I mean, it's tougher, cheaper, lighter, better field of fire on its weapons. The only real drawback, apart from the water thing, is the fact that this one has more power available to it. So, let's go ahead and attack. Yeah. If that one was firing at this angle, one of these guns would be blocked. But if I move it like here, yeah, that has a really good firing angle on it, and it's not at all bothered by the recoil either. So yeah, that is just flat out a superior design. Pretty powerful too, but that's because it's got twin turret mounts on it. There we go. Yep, I like it. Okay, this one's a good one. So this basic chassis is definitely a good one for basic combat vehicles, which are easy to build right from the start. I like it. I really do. Okay. Should I bother to build a heavy assault unit? I don't know. These guys are pretty darn dangerous as they are. So it's a massive improvement just there. And let's move on to my next planned vehicle concepts. Anyway, I've got the Hazard Zone Miner, I've got the XL Miner, I've got the Flame Tank here, which I no longer need for comparison, I don't think. So I'm going to remove that flat out. Yes. I've got the Basic Harvester, I've got those. I'm happy with those two harvesters, so again I'm moving that from my list flat out. So I've got a Basic Armor Chassis, Hazard Zone Miner, and then I've got this guy, which is it's an early unit, so it's like a mainline gun Gatler. Yeah, mainline Gatler because it's armed with the Gatling cannons. So, mainline Gatler, that's what you are called, my dear friend. An excellent addition to my little fleet. So, save you. Yep. I think I'm going to need to customize this further to actually build the flame tank, though. So, because the flames, it needs a more durable chassis and more power. So I'm going to have to customize this further to actually do that. So I've got a mainline Gatler. Let's clone that, modify it, because this is, of course, the basic, a basic cheap combat chassis. So delete the two guns, and let's get the revolvers on there. As soon as I find it, there we go. The revolvers, and mount those two on it too. Check. And check. So there we go, we've got a basic revolver type. Let's go ahead and save that. Mainline revolver. So this is going to be the mainline series because it's a basic chassis that's really flexible in terms of what kind of thing it can have. So maybe a hybrid would be good if I had a Gatling on the front and then a revolver on the back, but I do like to specialize my weaponry a bit more when I build things. I don't know. It'd be a more flexible unit, I think, kind of thing. Anyway, let's move on. There is another new vehicle I need to add to my basic production list, which is going to be a supply vehicle, actually. Actually, I need a repair vehicle as well. So, yeah, there were two units I was going to add. These are going to be basic things, but I've already got a basic chassis pattern going down now, so... there we go. It's going to start out like the... like these vehicles have, because I like this basic pattern I've got going on. So there we go. But this thing is not going to be heavy, it's not going to be armed, it's not going to be anything. It needs to be fast, basically. This thing needs to be fast. So, let's go ahead and get this thing put together. So this is going to be my ammo supply vehicle, because you'll probably notice during the fighting in the pre-build thing, in the pilot, that's it, that's the word, that my units were sometimes having trouble with ammo. So that's my idea here to try and rectify that. I'm going to actually use the ammo printers on this thing, 2 of them. So this thing is dedicated purely to ammo, but it's on a light, fast chassis. So the idea is that this guy is going to run back and forth from my base to where I need it. So this thing will be I'll be constantly using the E key on this, so that sends it back to rearm and restock. It's so that'll replenish the ammo carriers. The ammo carriers themselves don't have much ammo, but they can keep some units going. But this thing is faster, as I said, so it can go back there much quicker than my combat units could, and then get back over here. And because it's running back and forth, again, that is why it's not got any real armor on it. It's not meant to stay in the fighting area, so it's not meant to try and endure much of anything. It'll come up, reload guys, run away to get its ammo printers restocked, and then come back again because I'll use shift click to queue up the movement order for it to immediately return. So it's basically an ammo shuttle kind of thing. So yeah, that should be it. It should be pretty maneuverable, pretty fast. It's also incredibly light. So, and I've got the basic layout down. So this is the ammo shuttle. Save, and this guy can rearm all ammunition-dependent systems. At least that's the theory. Ammo shuttle. That's getting built. I don't need you around anymore, actually. So recycle you. And I'm happy with this guy as well, so there you go. Ammo shuttle's coming out. Let's test its maneuverability. It is a bit on the light side after all, so there is that, but not too much of an issue, and it doesn't mind running around quite a lot, so yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and do this then. Let's go attack. Got to attack a unit, so no. Hang on. You attack. No, that's attack move. Attack him. And yep, there we go. Actually, having two, it spits them out. It spits out two at a time. So, oh, but it is restocking both guns at once, so it is actually playing okay with that. So that miner is actually taking quite a bit. So stop. Oh, there goes the miner. Whoops. Hazard miner's tough, but definitely not indestructible. But yeah, this guy has just spent a bunch of his ammo reserves to do that. So let's test this. E, and then click and move. So gets rearmed, and then comes straight back. So yep, okay, that'll work as I'm hoping it will. So we now have an ammo shuttle unit, which can keep my ammunition-dependent units resupplied. Excellent. New addition achieved. And that's still building the hazard miner back. Poor hazard miner. Oh well, it laid down its life for the greater good, I think. Anyway, get you over there. Go ahead and get you over there. Yep, they can fit together much better than the other guys could. And then I've got the ammo runner here, which is also good. Oh, it does have a slight risk of tipping, so there is that. Yeah, it can tip a bit because of the weight deficiency caused by those ammo printers, it seems. But okay, right, next vehicle. The other one, this is going to be a combat support vehicle. It's not going to have any weaponry on it, but the idea is that this guy is actually a repair bot. And I have no idea what happened there, but that's how I want it, so you can get deleted. Same basic chassis kind of thing. But this guy actually needs some armoring because he's actually going to be in the fight, you know? So again, it's got a really thin mounting on it. But this guy is... The reason I built the ammo runner first is because this guy is actually going to be dependent on the ammo runner a lot. Because something else, as you probably saw in the fighting in the pilot, was my units were getting battered quite a bit. So they were having a few issues. Let's put it that way. So, this guy is going to be a repair unit. Let's add another basic hull on top here. And then I'm going to add the repair units. And I'm actually trying something slightly different here. I'm going to mount them sideways. Like that. And see how it takes to doing things this way. What their firing arc's going to be, that kind of thing. Useful stuff to know, basically. But that's what I'm doing to it. And I'm going to mount the CPU under there. Mount a battery under there. So there we go, that's all that stuff sorted. And since it's actually going to be in combat a bit, I want it to have some armor. But I'm thinking translucent plates rather than flat plates. It makes it more vulnerable to explosives, but actually these plates here are really resistant to heat, aren't they? Do I have a good blast resistance plates? I don't think so. Oh, here we go. Yeah, these guys are really blast resistant. These armor plates over here, these basic red and black ones. Because this guy's supposed to stay away from flamers. It's supposed to have other guys in front of it, so heat resistance is not really important, but some blast resistance is probably going to be a good idea. So, I'm going to include basic armor plating on this guy. I actually want you to be around here. Thank you. And then if I remount it like this, it's going to have a layer of blast resistant plating on the sides of it to help it, to give it more hit points and to help it resist longer range weapons, which like the high explosive cannons, which might target this unit, things like that. So there we go. And of course, since it's meant to be in the battle zone, it's going to need some more batteries, of course, because it's not going to be running back and forth like the ammo carrier will. So there we go. What have you got? You are 47% normal resistance, so that's normal bullets and things. 53% resistance to blast weapons like explosives. No resistance to flamethrowers, but it's not supposed to be dealing with flamethrowers. It's supposed to be dealing with everything else. So this looks like it should be some kind of laser tank, actually. Interesting. But yeah, I think that's a good layout there for it. So it's got a very narrow wheelbase though, so there is that too. Oh, also, I almost forgot. It needs to have a sky magnet support unit. So if units get tipped over, this is the unit that will try to help them. So that's a utility piece that it requires. So there we go. So this guy can actually let's put that on top, just because. That way it doesn't get in the way of any rear firing arc of the repair systems. So there we go. It looks, yeah, it definitely looks like a utility vehicle, this, but that narrow wheelbase might be a slight issue. That's why I'm here testing, of course. So this is a repair drone. Save that, and let's get this in built and test it a bit. So this guy carries twin repairers. It can patch up damage pretty darn quick, but the repairers actually use physical ammo supply. So that's why I built this ammo runner first, because it's going to be resupplying bullet-based units, but it's also going to resupply the repair unit as well, because that requires it too. So let's see, it's got 113 hit points, so it's fairly durable. It's actually pretty heavy, but the Sky Magnet is heavy and the repair guns are heavy, so it's a pretty darn heavy unit overall. Relatively cheap. It's cheaper than the main battle tanks. It's a bit sluggish. Yeah, it doesn't quite accelerate as well, but also you need to rearm it a bit too, as you can see. So let's get the ammo runner out here. Get over there, please. It only starts with 100 charges repair guns. You need to rearm it properly. Now, one weapon requires rearming, so oh, interesting. Okay, so it turns out the ammo printers can't restock the repair guns. Huh. I thought it was ammo system, but it seems to be not. It seems to be different material requirements, so slightly disappointing that. The ammo runner will have to come back sometimes to rearm itself, but let's see how well it does. Attack this guy. Okay, so those things do have full, but this guy is easily keeping up with the damage output. So, and it's barely taxing it as well. So this guy is going to be really helpful for keeping my units alive. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Stop. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay. Doesn't work as well as intended, or as I thought, but that's okay. So, I have a basic lineup of units here. I don't have a dedicated flame unit. I mentioned I'd have to do some specific building on that. Like, it would be basically a more heavily armored, more battery, more power supply compared to the basic armored chassis, because that's the mods it requires for supporting flamers. So it'd be slightly larger, but it would carry more stuff on it. But overall, it would be pretty much the same. So that's why I've not done that in this video. Now then, I can't leave this without looking at the new stuff, can I? I don't think I can. So what have I got? I've got the big wheels, half again the cost. Not sure what the difference is. And I've got tracks, so I've got tank tracks now. I've also got whatever these telescopic beams are too. I have no idea what these things are. Are they a kind of walker leg or something? Let's slap together a basic hull and just try and figure out what the heck they are. So this is just going to be a really simple test here, just to find out what the heck these legs are, because I have no idea. It just says telescopic beam, and it's don't know what that is, kind of thing. I'm also aware of how long this is being, so this video is basically just going to be I've built basic units, and if I'm going to really seriously build something with these more advanced parts, I'm going to have to do a separate video because I don't want this to be too long. Okay, done that, and let's get it printed out. The legs are a bit slow to build. Let's accelerate that. Now, what are you going to do? Absolutely nothing. Okay. Wait, is this a stability system? I think it might be. Let's test. Let's hang on. Actually, let's do this the simple way. Let's grab a XL miner. Oops, nope, didn't mean to do it that way. Finicky system. Finicky. Remove you. Yep. So I've got the basic. I've got this copy of the XL miner here. Really light vehicle. Let's tear off the mining part. So that's that and that. Okay, and what happens if I put that on it to give it proper elevation over the parts there, and if I whack a cannon on it? Because that seems like that might be part of the reason why I've got telescopic legs. Oh, that looks ridiculous, that. Okay, let's build it. There we go. Hello, Mr. Cannon Guy. You look silly. You're probably going to flip yourself over. Oops. Yeah, you're having some weight distribution issues right there. Okay, let's hit this one. Fast firing, but not actually as dangerous as I thought it might be. There's definitely having some recoil issues. Oh, it's almost tipped over there. So yeah, there's some powerful recoil on it, but it's not really that dangerous. Okay. Oops, no. Wrong controls again. Right. Modify you. So what is this then? Can I install something else on the beam? No, I can't. Is it? Oh, I think I know what it is. Yeah, I do think it's more of it's a raising item to, I think, let me lift a unit up to give it a better firing arc to get past other units, but I didn't notice that being an issue before, so question mark? I don't really know. But probably, yeah, probably it's an issue of I can lift this unit up, turning it into basically from a mobile unit into a mobile firing platform. Though I don't know what the benefits of that might be, to be quite honest. It'll definitely lock it in place. Yeah, it'll definitely lock it in place. I think I've been at this for nearly an hour and a half. Oh, flipping heck. Let's see, let's get this over here. Park you there. Now, if I extend your legs... Well, that didn't help, did it? Can you still move? You can, but very slow, barely. Okay. And then if I tell you to attack that... Huh. What if I turn side on, where it's a bit more flexible? What happens if I do that then? Yeah, I think this is a kind of stability increaser for high recoil stuff. I can't see any other use for it. It's like I don't know what I can use that thing for. Very strange. Scrap you, yeah. Okay, right. There is, of course, one more thing I need to test. And that is... Well, can't leave this thing without doing the tank tracks now, can we? Of course we can't. So, I'm going to fit this in with my newly unlocked tank tracks. Let's take the cannon off. And I'm also going to mount the grenade launcher too, because time reasons. So grenade launcher, pick you, and add the continuous tracks don't actually have a separate requirement in terms of production, so they're just a more advanced piece of tech, no flat outs. Add a grenade launcher on top. Well, this is again looking ridiculous, but hey, I'm not going to argue. Let's check the stats and actually compare them. Weight 14, weight 3, weight 6. So, okay, this thing is more of a sheer, heavy, stable platform, I think. Doesn't add any hit points, though, so having that in itself doesn't add any hit points. Okay, right. Let's get that thing out. It's a very different unit than possible with the wheels. With the wheels, I had to be aware of how they were. But this little guy is now basically a really tiny... Whoa! A really tiny and unstable drone. Let's get my support drone over here. Flip the neck. Okay, right. Whoopsie daisy. That's working properly, isn't it? Okay, let's go back in and modify that one again. Flipping heck. Right. Now, actually, wheels didn't like it when I tried to do a 3-wheel combination on it. So, will a tank track be better at doing that? Let's take a look. So, what will that do to it? Because I've also got that now giving it problems with turning force. I suspect it might need a wheel on the back of it to act as like what was it, a bogey? A trailing wheel? Something like that? I don't know. Yeah, probably need something like that. But this shouldn't tip over like that. But the question is, can it turn? That's what I want to know now. Because that backtrack is not going to be conductive for turning. Oh, that is actually pretty fast. Slow to turn, but then it like goes, whee! It's moving. It's faster. It's faster than the basic wheel thing. So, okay, that is definitely a more advanced thing. Though of course I've buggered it by messed it up slightly by having that backtrack, which is affecting its turning performance. So. Okay, grenades are very slow, but they are really powerful on impact. Good to know. Scrap you. Let's get that modified. Modify. Take off the back track. Replace it with a small wheel, which should solve its turning issue. Like that. Get it built. But that should solve its turning and keep its speed. Yeah, that's a lot more stable. It's not flipping over like before. It still turns really quickly thanks to the wheel. And it's got most of the speed. Seems to be moving a little bit slower though. So yeah, that is definitely a worthy addition. That the tracks definitely affect the mobility, and it makes for faster units and more stable units, but it still relies on how you build it quite a lot. If you build it too high up, it's just not going to balance properly, and it's going to go flat on its face, but that's pretty much a given in this game, isn't it? Recycle you. Yep. Okay, last thing to test is... remove you. Last thing to try is big wheels. So, clone. Modify you. Remove the basic wheels and the mining system. Oh, I'm going to have to shift click this, aren't I? There we go. Tear you all out. And let's see what the big wheels are like. Well, they are big. I'll give them that. I wonder if this is a case of it makes for a taller vehicle, but it's faster because they are a bigger system after all. Let's actually compare them. 15 pellets compared to 10, double the weight. Well, they are definitely a bigger system, so save, yes. Give me that last test vehicle, please. Whoa, they've got a lot more torque on them. Yeah. Flipping heck. They also seem to be a bit faster. Yeah, they are faster. They've definitely got a lot more power on them, so they'd be more agile on a big vehicle. But on such a small, light unit, they are way overpowered. This thing can't move without spinning around like a ballerina. So, wow. And at the moment the moment it hits the brakes, it flips over. So, yeah, okay. Big wheels have issues, but they are more for heavier vehicles, and they are more powerful, flat out. So, heavier combat units, they have tracks and big wheels now as options. I still don't know what the flipping pistons are for. But yeah. Anyway, gonna call it there. It's been best part of an hour and a half now of me just tinkering around and building. But I've got some things tested, I've checked out new stuff, and I've got some I've got 5 new units to bring into the campaign next time I play that. So I'm going to build a flame variant off screen because, as I said, it's just going to be a bit of a tweak compared to these guys. But this has been... I am Mark B. Thank you very much for watching. If you stuck with me this far, I know it's been a whole load of boring building and testing out a little bit and stuff like that. Mostly just building stuff. But yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all some other time. Yeah. This game does have some potential, I think. Needs work, has potential. Yeah. See you all later.